자신이 생각하고 있는 말을 능숙하게 영어로 구사하며 자신의 의견을 내놓기는 쉽지가 않습니다. 하지만 이준석 대표의 인터뷰를 보면 막힘없는 영어 실력을 보유하고 있는 것을 알 수가 있습니다. 예능에서 타일러와 주고받은 대화 내용을 잠깐 보고 가시겠습니다.
What do you think are going to be the major issues for the upcoming U.S. presidential election in 2016?
오, 면접인데 면접.
How they're going to deal with the welfare issue and say minimum wages and those kind of stuff. Because from my experience in the U.S., the gap between the richer and the poorer, that would be a major issue. There's certainly a portion of American people who just doesn't like the word socialism.
이처럼 문제적 남자에 출연했을 때는 타일러가 여태껏 만나본 방송인 중에 가장 영어를 잘하는 사람이라고 표현하기도 했습니다. 또 셧다운제 세미나에서 영어 공부 방법으로 게임을 하면서 공부를 했다고 밝히기도 했습니다. 라디오에 출연하여 비정규직에 대한 이슈를 영어로 밝혔는데요. 자신의 생각을 자신감 있게 깔끔하게 표현하는 이준석 당대표의 영어 실력을 시청하시도록 하겠습니다.
Mr. Lee, this issue of regular and non-regular workers has been identified as a concern in Korean society for many years now. Do you think it is something that needs to be addressed as well?
Definitely. The first point I want to make here is that if you want to simplify the matter, it's about stability and wage level. So the regular workers, they have stability and they have higher wage levels, and the non-regular workers, they have less wage, lower wage level, and they don't have stability. But I'm going to use this term a lot: fairness. Yeah, fairness is the matter here, and I think the gap to alleviate the gap between the two two types of work. I think politicians have made a lot of efforts to narrow the gap, but the thing here is that the economic crisis Dr. Choi just mentioned is making it harder to make the transition from non-regular workers to regular workers on time. So Moon Jae-in administration, after its inauguration in 2017, has set this as the first objective of the administration. And Moon Jae-in, President Moon had to visit Incheon Airport Corporation on the third day of inauguration.
Right. 3 days after he came into power, one of the first places he goes to is the Incheon International Airport, and that pretty much makes a statement that this is going to be an important issue for his presidency.
Right, so nobody here denies the fact that making the transition from non-regular workers to regular workers is important, and it's from good intention. But people have to point out that it's really important to keep fairness in the process. Say, they chose 1,900 workers from a total population of 5 million people to be the first model case.
Okay, so let's talk about this now. So we were talking about the Incheon International Airport, 1,900 workers, you said, mostly security agents, I understand. They are set to have their contracts changed from temporary to permanent. Most of these staff, though, have been working at the airport for many years, have extensive experience, but have not had access to benefits that full-time workers at a public corporation might have enjoyed. So, Mr. Lee, why has there been a backlash then, especially among younger job seekers?
So, among the Korean public corporations, there's a specific rule saying that a corporation's aggregate sum of wages have to come to some ceiling. So without modification to that law, all corporations have to abide by a specific wage ceiling.
Okay.
So when you make a transition from non-regular workers to regular workers, at this volume, 1,900 people, it definitely makes the Incheon Corporation hit the ceiling. That means that the regular workers who had been working there has to face some difficulties in terms of their wage levels and their other social benefits. So that's one backlash coming from there, from the regular workers, but the present regular workers. And because of the wage ceiling, like the new employee numbers will have to decrease for a while. So that is a thing for people preparing for the job at Incheon International Airport Corporation. So, I mean, those two are the big groups, two groups who are actually concerned about this abrupt transition of 1,900 people.
Before we carry on, could I ask, I guess not to tap the hands on the table, because this
Oh,
table
sure,
is very
sure.
sensitive. I'm really sorry about this.
Right.
The table is very sensitive and then comes up to the mics.
At the same time, I would say that is the reason we did not see that much critics actively looking into his campaign platform at the time of election, because the election period was relatively shorter than before, say about a 3-month period for the entire election. So there were just not enough time for it. And the other part was that it was a landslide victory for Moon Jae-in. So people didn't really look into what he had to say, but they actually had this saying that anything but what Park Geun-hye has done, that kind of theory. So he has a high public approval rating, and he is sticking to what he had written down in his platform. So there's nothing much to criticize. But at the same time, I mean, things change, I think. I mean, when they, for example, say he pledged to increase minimum wages to 10,000 won in 5 years of his administration.
Tenure, right?
And to be honest, our party, Bottom Party, has pledged the same thing. But, I mean, there are ways to alleviate the symptoms that can be caused by the minimum wage increase. Say, I mean, people who run small restaurants and small shops, they're really intimidated by this 10,000 won minimum wage pledge, and they are expecting some more measures to alleviate their shock in this 5 years of period. But Moon Jae-in government is really not looking into that kind of alleviating measures at the moment.